Hi, welcome to First Team All Vibes. This is your favorite sports podcast where we also have all of the best vibes. My name is Marissa. I am one of the hosts on this podcast, and I am the local vibe connoisseur here around these parts.
You're damn straight. And I'm Anthony, and I'm the resident guy that knows ball. Literally my one thing I gotta do, so.
You know?
All right.
You do your job.
Exactly.
Welcome to episode 2, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone who watched episode 1. We are so grateful for all the support and the excitement. We are excited. We're excited to keep going. I mean, we're just getting started, obviously. Lots of stuff to go over. A lot of stuff has happened in the past week. A lot of developments.
Honestly, once we started this, it was crazy to see just how much happens in a week.
Literally.
Like, as soon as we were done, it was the very next day that stuff started going down.
I know.
So, you ready for the tip-off?
I know.
Let's get into
we're
it.
gonna, by the way, we're gonna try to make this a quick turnaround for you guys on most of the week, so that we're kind of up to date. But yeah, keep in mind, a lot happens all the time, okay? So we're gonna try to keep up to date, but we're catching up. So yeah, let's start the tip off. The first big thing that we wanted to discuss is one of the major developments from the past week, which is the Clippers Kawhi Leonard scandal. Actually, crazy story. If you guys did not hear about this, which I'm sure a lot of you probably have, because I feel like it's like the biggest news because it's the off season and like what else is there to talk about? So it is making all the headlines. But essentially, this journalist named Pablo Torre, he basically has a podcast called Pablo Finds Out. On this podcast, he has done many segments where he does like these deep dives, super intense investigative journalism pieces where he really dives into these like very crazy cases. In fact, he actually exposed how what was the guy that got caught for gambling from the Pistons?
Oh, wasn't it Michael or Malik Beasley?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He exposed
he made it so
that.
obvious too.
Yes. And he did a whole episode about that and exposed that in a crazy way. I mean, I think he had a whole scandal with the NFL too. He exposed something from them. I mean, he has dropped some bangers, okay? And he has struck again. He was actually fired from ESPN, fun fact. And now he's just okay, I'll get all the press anyway.
Yeah, that's the politics of ESPN.
Exactly. They don't want to investigate journalism. Are you kidding me?
They don't want to tarnish the names of all these great athletes that, if you're going to watch the Clippers and Kawhi's healthy, that's who you're going to watch. So they don't want to do that. They're not stupid, but also clearly they're not above board on things.
Exactly.
There's no justice.
And that will come into play as we continue this discussion. So I'm just going to give you guys a brief synopsis and we can kind of discuss a little bit. But essentially what he exposed on this podcast was that there was a very suspicious contract that Kawhi Leonard, the star of the Clippers, had with a company called Aspiration. Now, Aspiration was actually a huge sponsor of the Clippers. They invested, I think, $300 million or something into the Clippers. They were a team sponsor for 2 years. It was 2021 to 22, I think, and maybe the year before, something like that, or the year after, 2 years, okay? And actually, I ended up finding out Steve Balmer, the owner of the Clippers, also the 6th richest man in the world. Keep that in mind, okay? The richest by far NBA owner. Okay, this guy has money
He's a
to
Jerry
go
Jones
around. Yes, I mean
the NBA.
Way bigger. I mean, he's literally the 6th richest man in the world.
Yeah,
probably one of the richest sports owners. Period. Honestly, so that can give you an idea of where this is going. But essentially, what he uncovered was that Kawhi Leonard, the star of the Clippers, had this deal with Aspiration, this company who became they were actually convicted of fraud. The founders arrested and convicted of fraud, okay? And essentially, they filed bankruptcy because obviously, they were charged with fraud and the company went under. And so in these bankruptcy pleadings, he was able to find, this guy, Pablo, was able to find that Kawhi Leonard was one of the creditors, basically. So when you file a bankruptcy, basically all of the people that you owe money to, they go to court and they say hey, we want to file to get our money. Right?
Yeah.
So he opened a company seemingly just for this, okay? And it was KL2, because isn't his number 2 or something like that? whatever. Yeah. So it was like KL2. It's like, oh, wow, I wonder who that is. Aspiration, the name of the company. Okay. So seemingly started this company, this LLC, just to get money from this company, and basically entered a $28 million contract with them with absolutely no requirements to fulfill the contract.
No obligations to do anything to promote the company.
Nothing. There was like things that were written of like, you could promote the company, you could post about it, you could do a social media post, but you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. There was basically like loopholes in every single part of the contract that essentially gave him just the choice of like, you don't really have to do this. In fact, the only thing he actually had to do that was non-negotiable was stay on the Clippers. Okay. Now, you might be thinking, I mean, that's kind of crazy, but like that's not really that big of a deal. Like the company was just stupid. Like why did they give him that contract? But this is where it gets juicy. The Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, happened to invest $50 million into Aspiration. Okay. And this basically all happened in a very short amount of time. It was I
thought he invested more. I thought it was $1 billion.
50. It was 50. Just 50 million.
Oh, okay.
50 million, okay, is what he invested. 28 million is what that contract with Kawhi was for, okay? Keep in mind also that this company also hired legitimate people. They had a contract with like Robert Downey Jr., with like Leonardo DiCaprio, and they actually did commercials for them. Okay, they actually did work. So they're out here having Leonardo doing his work to get paid. But somehow Kawhi Leonard, who's not exactly known for his shining personality, you know what I mean? And like media presence. I don't mean that as a diss. It's just that he's not really that guy.
He's a fun guy.
I mean, it's not that he's mean. It's just that.
It's the meme.
You ever seen that meme? No.
He's like, I'm a fun guy.
Yeah,
They put the cursed laugh over the
right,
laugh.
Right. It's like a joke almost.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's the whole bit, right? Is that it's like this guy's not really a media guy. But essentially like he got this contract. Steve Ballmer invested $50 million. And the timeline of this was he signs his contract with the Clippers. A month later or so, Steve Ballmer invests that money. And then about a month after that, Kawhi Leonard gets that contract, okay? It has since come out that actually not only did he get a $28 million contract, he also got a $20 million investment in the company. He like got a share of the company worth $20 million. What does that add up to? $48 million. Just so happens that, again, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer invested $50 million, okay? Now, essentially, the claim here is that this was a way to get around the salary cap. If you guys, obviously, I'm sure most of us know, there are very strict salary caps in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Different than a lot of other sports, right? Like you cannot just pay them infinitely, and there's penalties for even paying a certain amount, right?
The luxury tax.
Yes, exactly. Like it gets complicated.
It's basically the same in the NFL. Okay. The only one that's different is really the MLB, and that's why the Dodgers are able to load up because the salary cap doesn't exist there.
Exactly. So, this is a big deal because the whole point of it is that it's supposed to make it equal playing field. And so it's like this guy's the richest owner in the NBA. So obviously it's a big deal if he's playing, players under the table. So obviously, right? It's one thing if it's like, oh, come to LA, you can get more brand deals. Like that's normal. But it is not normal to, be signing a $30 million contract to do nothing. And, the owner invested in this company and like all of these extra parts of it, and so obviously this was like a huge scandal because that's just absolutely so like, I think that Adam Silver, like the commissioner of the NBA, he said that it was like, that's the cardinal sin. Is like he had a quote or something that people were talking about where he was like,
we'll see if he sticks to that.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so what is happening now? So this story erupts. Everyone's talking about it. Obviously, everyone's freaking out. The NBA is forced to launch an investigation, which has started now. They are doing an investigation. They hired this like famous law firm to kind of be the mediator for it, which I think is good because I'm like, I don't know if we should have the NBA investigating it on their own because I don't trust them.
Anytime you see a sports organization doing a private investigation, I'm just like, yeah, they're going to find nothing. That's what the MLB did basically with Shohei Ohtani, sports gambling. It was, okay, we're going to do an investigation. We're going to do our due diligence. But it was basically the MLB did their own investigation. It was open and closed. They made his interpreter the scapegoat. And it doesn't get talked about. I mean.
Exactly. So I feel like, especially again, let's think about this. The NBA is basically owned by the owners, right? Like, yeah, there might be the front, like the head offices, there might be Adam Silver, but at the end of the day, the NBA is owned by the owners, okay? The richest owner in the NBA, the 6th richest man in the world, Steve Balmer, the owner of the Clippers. So obviously it's like, it's a tough, touchy situation because it's like, are they really going to be willing to be honest if he did in fact, do this to circumvent the salary cap? And are they going to actually take actions? Because, it just, the other thing about this too, basically this supposedly all came about because Kawhi has this uncle. His name is Dennis. Okay, they call him Uncle Dennis. Exactly. And apparently,
as a Spurs fan, I know him well.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Apparently, he is notorious, okay, because he's always asking for crazy stuff for Kawhi. There was stories coming out of San Antonio. There was stories coming out of Toronto with the Raptors. There was like all these stories that he was asking for, like, all this stuff.
And the Lakers.
Exactly. There was a story.
Which is why he ended up on the Clippers instead.
Exactly. Okay, so he was with the Raptors. Some of you guys might remember, right? They won the championship or whatever. He didn't re-sign with them. He could have made the same amount with the Raptors. So it's like, why did he choose to go to LA? Right? Like, one question. And why did he choose to sign with the Clippers instead of the Lakers? Like, potentially another question. Maybe not as a good of a team, arguably, right? Like, at the time.
As well, apparently, the whole thing is that that's where he wanted to go. He didn't want to go to the Clippers. That Kawhi himself wanted to go to the Lakers. And then he doesn't. Obviously, he ends up on the Clippers. And the bogus thing after is he didn't want to play second fiddle to LeBron.
I heard that.
When that was like kind of out of left field and it didn't really make sense. I think LeBron's a guy that he had a lot of respect for. And
I think
to
LeBron
just turn around
him.
And instead play with Paul George, it's like you wouldn't have been second fiddle to LeBron. And that duo would have won a championship. Well,
they did win the next year? Yeah. The Lakers? So it's like,
you add Kawhi instead to that team. I mean, yeah, they're winning the championship.
Exactly.
And the only team that was kind of in their way was the Clippers.
Right.
And you just take Kawhi off the Clippers.
And it's forget it. Yeah, I think, and yeah, there was like stories of like in Toronto that he was like asking for like a stake in the team. And he was asking for like that he asked Jeannie Buss like from the Lakers for like a private jet. And that they wanted all of this stuff that was like illegal to do within the NBA. And so obviously they were rejected seemingly by these other teams. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe sometimes this kind of happens on a lower level. Like I could see the Lakers being like, you're going to get a lot of sponsorships. Because yeah, like you will, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand it's like even the Clippers, right? Like you're going to LA, you're going to get a big deal. But they were saying that this is bigger than his shoe contract. Like this is like not normal. And I've seen a lot of people saying now, like a lot of other owners are like pissed because they were like, no. Like let's keep in mind, guys, also. The Clippers have adamantly denied this, needless to say. They have claimed that it is completely false, that they are ready and willing to present all of the evidence that they have, that this is, that they're being framed, that this is nothing, this is a non-issue. And Steve Ballmer, the owner, he actually went on ESPN and he had an interview.
I saw that.
Yeah. And to me, I think it was just so obviously damage control. And I didn't even really feel like he proved anything because his whole thing was like, they tricked me, right? Like, again, this company, they went down because they committed fraud, right? Actively being charged with fraud, the founders of this company, right? And his whole thing was like, they're fraudsters. Like, why are you guys surprised that they would be doing something like this? Like, clearly, they were already doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? So, like, they tricked me into investing. Like, I thought it was going to be a good company and, even I'm screwed. So I don't know why you guys are acting like I had something to do with it. And I just personally don't buy that at all. Honestly, to me, it seemed like so obviously like you got caught and you're trying to, make excuses, or you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Like Mark Cuban, I saw that he did like a whole press tour. He was like on a bunch of podcasts saying like, oh, I don't think that Steve had anything to do with it because he's not that dumb. He would not do something like that. Like, this man is smart. And it's like, I'm sorry, didn't he just victim himself the entire time saying, poor me, I got fooled? So he's dumb enough to get defrauded of his money, right? By a bunch of like con artists, apparently. But he's not smart enough to like do an illicit deal to get a good player. I just don't buy that.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm like, how are you this smart of a businessman in Steve Ballmer, but then none of his excuse makes sense. Not only did you get frauded, and then you have somebody like Mark Cuban, who I respect, and I do like Mark Cuban.
I like him too.
But he's saying like, oh, like there's like, I don't even know what point he's trying to make, that, he's too smart for that or this and that. But then at the same time, what's in it for this company outside of Steve Ballmer to turn around and pay Kawhi and be like, you owe us zero obligations to do anything to promote our company. Like, it'd be one thing is, because I know, it definitely happens with the Cowboys and, Dak Prescott, he has a crazy amount of sponsorships because of his relationship with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
And obviously he's the highest paid player in the NFL. But then on top of that, he works with Sleep Number and all these people. But I see him on TV promoting these companies.
Yeah.
I know I'm not dumb to think that Jerry Jones isn't reaching out to these companies and he does business with them. He's already in bed with them and he's like, hey, we got the star quarterback over here. Like, he's interested in doing a deal with you guys in promoting your company, being a brand ambassador, all this stuff. Like, he can promote your company. You guys can pay him. Let's make this happen. I'm going to get you in touch with his agent, whatever the deal is. But like, again, Steve, what is the incentive for the company? Like, you gave him $50 million and then they turn around and give him $48 million away.
Yeah.
How, in what world is that helping the company? It just doesn't make sense.
That's what's weird about it, right? That's exactly it. Is that, yes, you're telling me he didn't do one social media post? The whole thing was that it was supposed to be like a fake environmental thing where they were going to plant a bunch of trees. He didn't plant one tree. He didn't do anything at all.
That was my favorite part about the story breaking.
Crazy.
The memes of Kawhi planting trees was so funny. He would have the hard hat on and he's just like the fake AI image of just him smiling. And
I mean, and half of me too is I'm like, maybe Steve Ballmer is just like, it's like, he's so rich. He's just so used to getting away with whatever he wants that it's like, to him, it's like, oh, this isn't actually illegal. So like, who cares? Like, I can get around the NBA. You think they're going to find out? And they wouldn't have if it wasn't for, Pablo. I also forgot to mention, guys, because this is a huge part of it. The evidence for this included the fact that Pablo Torre found like 8 people that used to work. It was like 7 or 8 people that used to work at Aspiration. Okay. He had actual sources, including somebody that he had on the podcast who asked to remain anonymous. This person worked in the accounting department of Aspiration, this company. And they said that it was basically open knowledge that they got told when they got hired, like, oh, we have all these big like people that are signed up for all these sponsorships. Like I said, right? Like Leonardo DiCaprio, like they have these big celebrities promoting it. And that they basically straight up told, I think it was a girl, I don't know. They straight up told her, this is just a way to get around the salary cap. Like, don't even look at this. They straight up told her that. It was like an open secret, apparently, in the company. And so that is like, I think what's really going to be like the proverbial smoking gun, because I don't really think that there's going to be like a paper trail that's literally so obviously, Steve Ballmer wiring, Kawhi money. But I do think that where the real juicy stuff is going to come is in the interviews with those sources. Like when they talk to these people that can be verified to have worked there, like, You're telling me that they're not gonna, take that into consideration?
And they're all just lying for what?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not, like, there's no money involved with them. Like, they're just like, they're just disgruntled ex-employees.
Yeah.
That's it.
And even then, though, I was thinking about it. I was like, can you imagine if you worked for Steve Ballmer? Personally, I would not be trying to ruffle those feathers unless it was legitimate. I mean, I think that's even more reason why it's like, I mean, okay, I guess they didn't technically work for Steve Ballmer because he didn't own the company, whatever. And I think that's also probably my theory is I think that's also why this is kind of dicey and why this is like he got so defensive and immediately did that interview is because let's not forget that company actually did do illegal stuff. They are literally being charged with fraud, so the founders of that company. It
already looks a certain way.
It's already messy. Just for them to even be, they almost named the Intuit Dome Aspiration Dome. Apparently, Aspiration wanted the naming rights and that they were willing to give like double what Intuit gave. But apparently, Steve Ballmer was like, no, I want a more established name, for the stadium. But I saw this was posted on Reddit, and there were some people that were like, me when I want to artificially drive up like what I'm selling on eBay. And it's like, basically implying like, did he tell them, hey, bid X amount because I'm in cahoots with you so that I can get Intuit to pay more? Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
Exactly. And so, there's just, allegedly, of course, this is all alleged, but that's what people have been talking about.
And when it comes to people as rich as Steve Ballmer, it also is important to, like, again, why he's trying to play so much damage control. They're already being accused of what they're being accused of.
Yeah.
So you're already in connection to that. And then there's also the public opinion. And the public opinion knows damn well somebody as rich as Steve Ballmer, which is, again, I think the entitlement, you just didn't think you were going to get caught.
Yeah.
Because anybody that has as much money as Steve Ballmer, not everything was done by the book. Like there were times where you cut corners. There were times when you come from a place where, like, I'm untouchable. I'll get away with it.
Exactly.
I can do anything. And honestly, it would have been as easy as, even if you didn't make Kawhi take those pictures, you could have taken pictures with him in practice and done the social media posts for him. That way it's like, boom, there it is.
That's the crazy part,
though. Like there was such an easy way for Steve Ballmer to get away with this. And honestly, the lack of effort just shows, like, you really just thought you would get away with it. And it all goes back to how
privilege
everything. It's not just Steve Ballmer, this Uncle Dennis guy, and it even goes to Kawhi. I mean, Uncle Dennis has been doing it since San Antonio. San Antonio was trying to repair that relationship, and he was rehabbing in New York. And it's a famous story that Uncle Dennis, that they agreed upon a meeting time. They agreed upon where Kawhi wanted to meet. And it was at like some rehab facility or something like that in New York. And Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford, the head coach and the owner of the Spurs, flew out to New York to meet with him. And Kawhi, his uncle had Kawhi hide in the building from them.
I actually do think I've heard
literally
that.
To force his way out of San Antonio. And it was like, well, he wants to be traded to L.A. And San Antonio was like, he's under contract. That's not his choice. So that's why he got traded to Toronto for DeRozan. And Toronto really just took the gamble, thinking, okay, if we get him here, we got him in the building. It shows that we want him. Maybe we could get him to resign. And it was like, no, he's a 1-year rental. He's going to LA. And all this was just done by his uncle. And for it to even come from Jeannie Buss to be like, hey, his uncle asked for this stuff, and he asked for this stuff for himself as well. We said, no, that's illegal. We will not do that. And that's when it ended. Fast forward, he gets sent to the Clippers instead. And then his camp reports that he didn't want to be second fiddle to LeBron. And it was no, really, maybe I think Jeannie Buss just said no.
Yep, I agree. I think that's it. Honestly.
Hats off to Jeannie Buss.
My queen.
You legend.
You saved the Lakers.
That's a move that I think her father was addicted to winning and would do anything for winning, but her father would not do that.
Really? You think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I also think that part of it is that she just doesn't have it like that. You know what I mean? Like, the buses were like, they sold the team now, so maybe now the Lakers could do it, because now they're going to be owned by Mark Walter, who's like the Dodgers owner, paying those, prices.
But I think they're willing to play ball as long as it's like basketball related or within there, because I mean, LeBron gets whatever he wants there, but it's within the basketball world. It's like, who do you want us to trade for? Who do you want us to potentially sign? Who do you want us? That's kind of been the deal. So it's not that they're not willing to do it like that. I just do think it's like she wasn't gonna do that.
Well, yeah, because it's also like, I do think about the fact that it's like, how long has like Steve Ballmer been an owner? Like a few years. I mean, at that point, it was like his first few years, So it's like, I mean, the buses know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, other teams know better, because they're like, hello, like, we're not just new to this, and like, just these billionaires buying this team as like a fun project. You know what I mean? Like a side hut thing just for fun, where you think you can just have all these cheat codes. Like, it just doesn't work like that. So I don't know, but obviously we'll see what comes of it. I'm curious as to how long this investigation is going to take. And if it finds anything, and what those fines are going to be. Like, there was one other incident that happened with the Timberwolves that everyone is comparing this to. The only other real like example of someone circumventing these caps, basically they promised, essentially they underpaid some dude for like 2 years and then promised him like a bigger contract at the end of that, which is not even, in my opinion, remotely as bad as this.
No,
because they actually paid this.
And they lost 4 first-round picks.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm curious, Adam Silver, if you're saying this is a cardinal rule, again,
step up.
And the point that I made, and we had talked about, I personally think that that the penalty should be a suspension. Obviously, because I'm not going to feel too bad for Kawhi, and especially because everybody's like, oh my God, it's Uncle Dennis. I'm like, but Kawhi's a grown man. Like, he should know better to listen to his uncle by now. Like, Kawhi, he's a grown man. He should know better by now.
Exactly.
But I said that whatever, if it does come out that it's true and it's as much as 48 million, I think for the remainder, as long as Kawhi's under contract, and however long that contract is, I think it's the next 5 years, that the Clippers salary cap should be 48 million less than every other team in the NBA.
I mean,
and they have to keep Kawhi on that roster. I think Kawhi should be suspended, and I think Steve Ballmer should pay a hefty fine. And I'm gonna say it, as long as you have a comparable, and if people are making the comparable, they should lose their first 4 picks for the next 4 years, because this is bad. This is cheating. This is blatantly cheating.
It's just so
to
obvious.
keep a better player, because the reality is, like, you have teams in Houston and in San Antonio, and there's a lot of like people that are behind that organization. That, I mean, you're talking about. Even Dallas, you're talking about, they have rich friends as well, and that's oil money.
Yeah.
Who's to say what they could do if they wanted to do that? So that's why I think this should be a pretty big punishment.
I agree. And that's I think one of the main kind of takeaways is that, like I said, right, the NBA is basically owned by the owners. And so, yeah, Steve Ballmer is the richest one, but there's 29 others. You know what I'm saying? There's 29 other billionaires who are now looking at the NBA saying, what are you going to do about this? Because, yeah, this guy might be the richest one among us, but not all of us are pulling that kind of illicit deal, you know? So, and if they don't do anything, I feel like it's just basically saying, like, we're allowing this. Exactly. Like, you're essentially giving permission. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of funny. I mean, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I don't really know how much it's going to impact the season, because I don't know when the investigation will conclude. I think it's going to take a while.
And that's what I was going to say. Adam Silver, I think, will will wrap it up. I think the investigation will close, and
Mhm.
my prediction was a little after All-Star Weekend.
Okay.
And then I think they will announce that they will start. They will decide the punishment in the summer. So I really don't think Adam Silver is going to want to affect those ratings, considering they have just like this old man ballin roster that they have
Mhm.
now that a lot of people are going to want to watch. I mean, I'm going to want to watch it too, but I really doubt that they'll get punished this year. I think they'll save it to next year when Chris Paul and all those guys are gone and retired, and the Clippers are going to suck anyway. And I think that's when they'll do the punishment. And obviously Steve Ballmer's hoping that they get a championship and then the punishment happens.
I mean, can you imagine if that did happen though? I feel like
Everybody
that'd be
would
horrible.
be pissed.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
Pissed. And honestly, I feel like they would, for sure, fans would be clamoring the same thing with the Astros,
Yeah.
like, put an asterisk.
Yep.
Don't give them that. Like,
Yeah.
they can have the title, they can have the rings, they can have the championship, they can have their name in the history books. Put an asterisk.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially if all this turns out to be true and
Yeah.
the punishment fits the crime, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see. But this just happens to not be the only scandal this week. There was, in fact, another scandal.
No.
This one in football, the NFL. I will let you take this, but I know that it involved a little bit of a spitting incident.
So I don't know what I was doing that day. Oh, I went to the gym. So we got out of work. We worked together. We got out of work. I drove home, and then I, got my stuff together, went to the gym. And then as I was at the gym, I'm listening to the Cowboys game. It was the first game. It was the NFL kickoff on Peacock and NBC. So the Cowboys were traveling to Lincoln Field to play the Eagles. It was banner night. They were unveiling the banner for the championship Eagles. It was pretty corny. They didn't watch it. That was their whole thing. And
That's funny.
Just watch it. Like, you celebrate.
Yeah, who cares?
So I'm in the car, and I'm going to pick up food for me and my dad, and then I finally get home, and mind you, kickoff had just happened. Like, I made it in time, I got to gym, I got the food, and I see a bunch of stuff going on, and I see my dad on the couch, and he's like, "Did you see what happened?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea what happened." So we're watching it on Peacock, and I start to rewind it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what happened? I see an Eagles player on the floor. He had a catastrophic injury. I see, Dak and, the Eagles players getting into it. I see a whole bunch of things. So I go back and watch it. And star defensive tackle, probably a defensive player of the year candidate this year.
Oh, wow.
Spit on Dak Prescott.
Straight up.
We lived with that for an hour and a half until NBC gave a separate viewing from a different angle. And as it turns out that Dak spit on the ground before him. Now, I have a different opinion. I don't know when I think the last time I honestly saw this was on the Bret Michaels dating show that was on VH1.
That is
it's
hilarious.
So weird. I think it was this girl Holly or whatever, and she spit. No, it was Holly, and she spit on this girl Nicole. Actually, I think it's the Flavor Flav show.
Oh my
God.
That is so funny.
It was that dating show.
Yeah.
And so it went viral, and it honestly reminded me of this girl Pumpkin spit on this girl Nicole. And I think she actually got it in her mouth somehow.
Oh my God.
Because Nicole was yelling at her. It was on the Flavor Flav, dating show on VH1. And I just remember it going viral. I think it was talked about on Good Morning America too.
I'll insert a clip if I can find it.
Yeah, because I don't think it matters whether you're a guy or girl. I think that is the most disrespectful thing you can do to another person.
Yeah.
According to Dak, after the game, he said that Jalen Carter was talking to his rookie on his offensive line. So Dak started chirping back at him, and he said, well, I guess I needed to spit. So he's like, I didn't want to spit on my lineman, so I leaned over them, spit. He's like, and then I kind of gave him a wink or whatever, and he thought I was spitting at him. So he asked, bro, are you spitting at me? And he starts to step forward, and he's like, I took that as offense because, we're about to play a game. I have no need to spit on you. I'm just trying not to spit on my lineman.
Yeah.
So then that's when Jalen Carter spits on him. Jalen Carter, I will say, after the game, he said it was his fault. He said it was his bad. So I think he realized what it was. So today, the punishment came down, and they fined him $50,000, and he is not suspended, which I'm surprised. Okay. So I think because he took accountability, and because he realized it was just a misunderstanding, basically, I think that's why the NFL didn't come down too hard. But I'm a little bit. The only reason I'm questioning it is because the NFL sent memos literally to ESPN, to NFL Network, to CBS, to Fox, to ABC, ESPN. Like literally, they sent out memos to everybody that their focus this year was sportsmanship. They want to cater the NFL to get kids to watch it. It's also a part of like the Play 60. They want kids to, start playing sports and get active and learn sportsmanship. And that was their big thing. So now this year they want to come down on taunting and all that stuff and sportsmanship. And I'm just like, if you kind of want to send a message, I just don't get why he didn't get a game suspension at the very least, to just sit there and say like, hey, again, we want to reiterate, because in all those memos that they were sending out to the league, it was about, doing gun motions and stuff like that, and some standing over players after they're hurt, some John Morant kind of stuff. And they literally didn't even have spitting in this memo, because that's just so unfathomable. Right. I can't even tell you the last time I saw this in anything. Yeah. So, and me personally, I think I just have a different take on it. I know there's Eagles fans and people that hate the Cowboys that are like, well, why isn't Dak suspended? I'm just like, look, if you don't watch football or if you don't watch the Cowboys, Dak spits all the time. Like that's his thing. That's what I heard. He spits all the time. They were showing warm-ups before the game started, and Dak was throwing the football, warming up, and you see him spit. And, I think the spitting's disgusting. But and I do agree. I think Dak baited him a little bit. The wink is a little much. The wink and the smile was pretty wild.
You basically implied it. I mean, you did.
But here's a point that I'm gonna make, that I want to say it in all due respect to Eagles fans, because I am a little bit glad that Jalen Carter wasn't suspended, and the only reason is because he took accountability, and it was a misunderstanding. I can understand why he thought Dak was spitting on him. Yeah. But here's the thing that none of the NFL media and all these sports talk shows that they didn't bring up. That obviously you have the context that Dak spit first. That is true. You have the context that Dak was baiting him with the wink and the smile. Yeah. But Jalen Carter is not even in his defensive huddle. And he's close to the Cowboys. And he's the one that's trying to incite some sort of reaction. He's the one that starts talking to Dallas.
So he baited him.
So he was trying to bait. I think he was trying to bait the Cowboys. And Dak ends up spitting, winking. Mind you, doesn't spit on him. There's a big difference.
Of course.
He was 10 feet away when he spits on the floor. So that spit lands 10 feet away from Jalen Carter. So it's different from actually spitting on somebody, which is wild and disgusting. Yeah. But again, it's just like, Jalen, you tried to bait, and then you got baited. That's all I'm going to say. That's where I'm going to leave it at. I'm glad that he wasn't suspended, because I really want to see Jalen Carter play against the Chiefs.
I'm sure he's embarrassed. That's going to be a great game this week. But that can't be. Yeah,
especially there's context as well. He had a whole incident. I don't want to get too far into it, with driving and a crash and in college, and he was supposed to go number 1 in the draft that year. He ended up sliding, I think, all the way to 10 to the Eagles. The Eagles took a chance on him, and he's a great player. Since then, he's had nothing. So I think people really tried to jump on this. And
he already has a bad media rep.
Yeah, and honestly, after the second view, which I also agree, NBC, why'd you take so long to, give us that other view? You just kind of let people run with it. You let people run away with it for an hour. But again, I'm also providing the context that I don't think other people are, that Jalen, you started the baiting. You were back there. You had no business being back there, and you were trying to get a reaction, and you were the one that ended up reacting. Yeah,
and I don't even think that's an excuse anyway. Like, you guys are grown adults. Like, you shouldn't be, like, you're professional athletes. Like, I think that you should be able to, like, handle yourself. I mean, I see some of the NBA players, like, saying some horrible stuff to each other, and they're not spitting on each other. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think that it's like, come on, bro. Like, who cares? Show him on the fields. You know what I mean? I don't think you got to do all that, but
like Kevin Garnett literally learned the names of like ex-NBA players' dead mothers, so he could mention them while he was playing against them. Kobe Bryant learned Spanish to talk trash to other players that played like overseas and stuff. So, you know, trash talk goes really far, and I think it's a teaching moment with Jalen Carter because the Cowboys made it a lot closer than I thought they would.
Really?
Because of it.
Oh wow.
You know?
Yeah, like, because they wanted it more.
He's a disruptor. I mean, for example, in ways that you can understand, take Luka out of the lineup. Jalen Carter is the Luka on that defense. He's the best defensive player. He's a game wrecker.
Okay, so he got kicked out of the game that game.
He got ejected. He didn't even play it down.
Okay.
And I really thought the Cowboys would struggle. Their offense looked good, but mind you, it's also with the context. Jalen Carter didn't play.
Right.
So he kind of let his team down. Luckily for the Eagles, they still pulled it out. But yeah, I mean, he's lucky because they were gonna need him against the Chiefs. The Chiefs O-line looked pretty good against the Chargers. So, you know, I am glad he didn't get suspended because I do think it was a misunderstanding. But at the same time, I also gotta be fair. I'm like, with those memos and what they're trying to push, he probably should have though.
Yeah, little hypocrisy perhaps. I see what you mean.
Little Eagles love, little love to Howie and Jeff, and that's what that is.
Even the Cowboys fan guys, you see, this is good sportsmanship.
Oh
right
no,
here.
He should have been suspended.
Oh,
he should have been suspended.
Okay, my bad. I got ahead of myself.
Nah, okay. I'm trying to be objective, obviously, but he should have been suspended.
I mean, in the very least, I think it sets maybe a good tone for the rest of the year.
It sets a good tone, but it also could potentially set a bad precedent.
Fair.
Same thing we were talking about with Kawhi. It could set a bad precedent. You don't come down hard on this enough. It could set a bad precedent because what you have moving forward is now if somebody else does it, you have the comparable. So let's say somebody else later this year, you know, they don't have that situation, they spit, and then you go ahead and you're Roger Goodell and you suspend them 2 games. If you're that organization, you're going to appeal and you're going to be like, I'm sorry. The last player that got this got, you know, a fine of $50,000 or a little over that and wasn't suspended for a game. So
what's going on? Yeah.
So
fair.
That's a huge part of it.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll see what comes of that. Both of these situations, both of these scandals that have played out over the last week, very juicy information. We had to open with that. Okay, so next up, we want to get into a little recap of the NFL first week. I guess obviously we already discussed the kind of the Cowboys game a little bit, the Cowboys-Eagles game, but obviously there was a lot more going on. So please run it down.
So it actually comes from a shout out to Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football and NFL Network. The biggest thing about week 1 and week 2 in the NFL that you know somebody like you new to the sport is week 1 and week 2 are always a liar. There's always going to be a team that looks really good and they're ready to play, and then they're going to dip. Or like last year, the Baltimore Ravens started off 0-2, and they ended up, I think, the number 3 seed. So last week, I was 9-7 in my predictions.
Right, I know. I was reflecting on that a little bit.
Not a good start. But I did get the Eagles and Cowboys right. Again, Jalen Carter, it was a huge thing. But Jalen Hurts had his way with the Cowboys defense. He ran all over them, and he didn't even need to throw a pass to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown.
Wow.
He looked like Superman out there. He looked good.
I got a lot of fantasy football points from him.
And the Cowboys were missing Michael Parsons dearly.
Oh.
But who won that fantasy game?
No one. Just kidding. He won.
And then Chiefs Chargers in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, okay.
Sao Paulo Antonio is an ESPN guy.
Oh,
I completely messed that up.
Okay.
But Chargers pulled it out. Chiefs lost opening week.
I heard that.
Opening week, and Andy Reid had forever to prepare. And
I kind of don't think they're going to be that good. That's my hot take.
And the other thing is their head coach, Harbaugh, stays undefeated in week 1. So that streak keeps going. The Chargers looked great.
Good for them.
Then in the early window, Cardinals Saints. I hate to say it, Saints suck. They were lucky to keep that close. And Arizona won in a close game. I got that one right. I got the Chargers wrong, by the way. So I won't up to that. And oh my gosh, my biggest L of the weekend, Tua looked awful with the Dolphins. He's their quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. The Colts looked great. They blew them out. So yeah, that one I was way off on. Again, week 1 and week 2, always a liar. I don't think the Colts are going to stay looking that good forever. Raiders, Patriots, it's another huge L I took. We'll see how it plays out. I really like the Patriots this year. So they lost to the Raiders. Yeah, Drake May struggled. I also forgot that Josh Daniels is their offensive coordinator. He used to be their offensive coordinator like a long time ago, but he had Tom Brady. And I think Tom Brady just, his like audibles and all that kind of masked how bad Josh Daniels was. And I still don't think he's that good of a coordinator. So again, maybe that was not a good pick for me to have. But I got to ride with it.
It's okay. You know, you're figuring it out as the teams are.
Yeah. And then the Steelers beat the Jets
they won,
opening weekend. Oh my God. It was one of the best. It was the second best game of the week, I think. Justin Fields, the quarterback of the Jets, he looked really good. I mean, this guy apparently couldn't throw a football, but he looked dang good out there.
Nice.
But old man Riverwalk, freaking Aaron Rodgers. Hate to say it. He looked good. 4 touchdown passes.
He's old too, huh?
Yeah, he was off target on 3% of his throws.
Wow.
That means 90% of his passes were on the money.
That's impressive.
Or at least catchable. So, you know, he looked good. Steelers got the win. I was right about that one. Giants looked pathetic offensively with Russ. That was a prediction I got 100% right. I said it was going to take the Giants a while. They might win the second time around. But Russ, they're not going to win with Russ, and Commanders won that game. Jaguars, Panthers. Oh my God, Bryce Young was another one I was way off on. I really thought Bryce Young would look a lot better. He looked great at the end of last year and in the preseason, and he just looked like normal Bryce Young. Trevor played pretty decent, but yeah, that was just a matchup of 2 bad teams, and the Jaguars won. Then the Bengals and Browns. That game was a lot closer than I think anybody thought it would be. And honestly, the Browns, I thought, dominated the whole game, but their kicker missed 2 kicks.
Oh,
so
that sucks.
They ended up losing the game. But good news for the Bengals, they actually won in week 1. So
nice, okay.
I think that's all that matters.
You predicted that, I think, right?
Yeah, I predicted that, but I also did not expect it to look the way it did.
Right.
Bengals looked rough. Bucks, Falcons, I did pick the Bucks. It was a lot closer than I expected. Bucks had to pull it out at the end by throwing a touchdown pass to rookie Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, somebody that I have in fantasy against you.
Period.
And he caught 2 touchdown passes. He caught the game winner. That was another very good game. 49ers, Seahawks, Glock Purdy closed out the game. They looked pretty good. They still got the win. I think their defense looked pretty good. Their offense on 3 drives looked good. Other than that, their offense looked bad. But George Kittle already on IR.
I have him.
Brock Purdy might miss next
I saw
week.
That.
So again, it's back to the same old 49ers. They looked good, but again, already with health concerns, but they pulled it out. Sam Darnold looks like a nobody without his ex-head coach in Kevin O'Connell. Broncos defense showed up at the end of the game against Titans rookie quarterback Cam Ward. They ended up winning that game, but a lot of drops from the Titans star wide receiver Calvin Ridley. I thought Cam Ward played good. A lot of missed opportunities from his receivers. So we'll see how they do in week 2. Packers just demolished the Lions. Micah Parsons was affecting the 31 snaps he played. He was the guy from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He essentially forced a turnover by putting pressure in the quarterback's face. He ended up throwing a pick. He looked damn good. The Packers looked damn good. And dare I say, they might be better than the Eagles.
Wow.
They looked great. Rams beat the Texans. I felt so bad because that's another one I got wrong. It was close, but oh my gosh, I just felt bad for Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud. He had no time to throw, and I think that might continue to be a problem. Bills, Ravens.
I heard about that one.
Game of the year already.
That's the one I heard about. That's the one I heard about.
Crazy work.
That's one I heard about.
They were down 15.
Yeah.
The Ravens had a 99% chance to win.
They pulled some Pacers vibes right there.
It was also an interesting stat I believe it was any team in NFL history that has rushed for over 200 yards in a game and was up by 14 points or more going into the fourth quarter had never lost a football game until Josh Allen went full Superman mode and won that game. Obviously, some great plays. They knocked the ball out of Henry. That was just the craziest game I think I've seen in a long time.
And then the kicker that was like 40 years old or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Matt Prater.
Yes.
Cardinals legend.
I saw him all over TikTok. So that's how I even found out about the game, because everyone was talking about how he won the game and how he like just pulled up out of nowhere and was like already retired. Yeah, and he freaking hit the field goal.
He was automatic. He was accurate.
Well, I think that's it. He's automatic, right?
And the other part of it too is they signed him on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. He was practicing at a local high school and was basically just like telling teams like, "Hey, I'm ready. I could still do this." The Bills lost their kicker and literally signed him Wednesday. And he was so unfamiliar with the team that Josh Allen is like, he had one conversation with him prior to that game. I heard that.
I saw that.
And he's like, and all we did was I talked to him like, "Hey man, like you're a legend on all this stuff." And then Matt Prater started showing him videos of his son playing quarterback. The most wholesome thing.
That's what I was
so happy that the Bills came back. They're just like, I think they're at this point America's team. I think them along with the Lions are consistently like the teams people root for. I do think the Ravens are a little bit in that category, and maybe the Eagles, but people just really gravitate towards the Lions and Bills. Derrick Henry fumbles the football. He never fumbles the football. Tyler Loop, their new kicker, at the worst time misses that, and I felt like, okay, whoa. For whatever reason, it just felt, even as a fan watching, that was the spark. That was the chance. The craziest throws, a tip ball, Keon Coleman, second-year receiver, catches in the end zone. It was a great game. It was unbelievable. And I felt so bad for Lamar Jackson. I have him in fantasy in our league.
Yeah, I
know. He played great. And it just feels like they can't beat these teams. Like they can't beat the Bengals, they can't beat the Bills, and they can't beat the Chiefs when it matters most. And I don't think it's Lamar's fault at this point, because he played honestly a perfect game in my opinion, but still at the end of the day they lost, and this could be big playoff implications already in week 1, because the Ravens play in a tough division and have a tough schedule, and it looks like, being that New England might be bad, the Bills have a layup in their division, and the playoffs could run through Buffalo now because of that one game. So obviously the rest of the year we'll see what happens. I still think the Ravens can turn it around, because they're the friggin' Ravens, and they look like the best team in the NFL through 3 quarters. They just didn't finish the game.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings beat the Bears on Monday night. You had basically 2 second-year quarterbacks. Might as well be first year. And I call him the JJ McCarthy. His name's JJ McCarthy. But
okay.
Little sauce, little nickname I like to give him.
Little nickname.
And the Vikings ended up pulling out friggin' Kevin O'Connell, their head coach. They call him the quarterback whisperer. And let me just say, but JJ McCarthy looked like absolute cheeks through 3 quarters.
Wow, until he got that little
until
whisper?
The fourth quarter, and he threw 2 touchdown passes and rushed for 1 in the fourth. Apparently, Kevin O'Connell told him in the locker room that JJ was a little low. Obviously, he's very hard on himself.
Yeah.
And he went up to him and he's like, "Hey, pick your head up, because you're gonna win us this football game in the fourth." And he looked great in the fourth. Caleb looked rough. Caleb looked great on the first drive. LGBTQB1, as we call him.
I remember.
And what I love, and I will shout out Caleb, is he painted his fingernails, and he did a special one for Suicide Awareness Month. So shout out Caleb.
Nice.
You're still an awesome dude.
That's so cute.
But oh my gosh, you just missed some throws that I'm sure he would have liked to have back. And again, week 1, week 2 is always a liar. Some of these teams, they're going to stay hot. Some of these teams, they're going to fall off. And let me tell you, week 2 is no better. Week 2 is the exact same. Once we start getting into week 4 and week 6, week 7, that's where you're going to start to realize who these teams actually are. So,
period.
We'll see what happens.
We're going to see. All right.
Did you have any thoughts on this weekend?
I am not going to lie to you guys. I didn't really see much at all other than that Bills-Ravens stuff. And I watched a few TikToks. I will say I got one on my like FYP, and then I watched a few more. That's where I saw like Josh Allen getting interviewed about it. I saw them all saying that they thought he was like a coach coming in there, but he was actually like the kicker, and it was just so wholesome. That's why I liked it, and I thought it was cute. I loved that they came back. Like, I love a good underdog, like, coming back in crazy circumstance vibe. So I feel like I would have liked that game. I just don't know. I think that I just haven't watched a game yet because I don't really cheer for any specific team. So I just don't really know even what game to watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. It kind of wraps you in that. And that's why I think that creating the fantasy league was important. So we got to get together on a Sunday so you can like you're going to be more involved in the game cuz you're rooting for your player to score.
Yeah,
like, you'll get so mad you're going to be like, "Oh my god, just let Jalen run the ball.
Right.
Stop throwing it."
I did have the Bills defense. That's my defense. I know.
Oh gosh, and they were gashed. Yeah, they were gashed the whole game. I mean, they forced the fumble. They made the big play, but I mean, they allowed 40 points. So a little rough.
Not a great pick.
Hey, but again, no, great pick because again, they play in a soft schedule. That division might be worse than what I previously thought.
Okay,
so
cool.
they might run the table here the rest of the year. That was literally their toughest game all year.
Perfect.
And they won. And they won it.
Oh my god.
See, but this is what's great about TikTok and what's great for I think there's a lot of bad things about TikTok, but this is a great thing. Your Luca rabbit hole started on TikTok.
It did.
And now your Matt Prater rabbit hole started on TikTok. Right. So I think more stuff's going to be recommended to you, and this is the fastest way to get into that stuff because it kind of drowns out all the unimportant stuff and it highlights the best stories. Like, that's what was so great about the Luka story last year that TikTok was highlighting is just like that he wanted to be there, his love for that organization, and that it wasn't reciprocated. So it kind of developed this like empathy, like, oh my God, I want to see this guy succeed. Like, why would somebody do that to somebody so invested in that? I feel the same way now about Michael Parsons with the Packers. And let me say, I grew up a Packers hater. All that old guard is gone. The last player there that I hated was Jair Alexander. He was the cornerback of that team. He's the guy that goes against the wide receivers. He tries to stop them from catching the ball. Okay. And he's now with the Ravens. He was terrible against the Bills. But yeah, I like Jordan Love. I believe his father committed suicide. So he's a big suicide awareness advocate. And he's just an awesome human being. Matt LaFleur, one of the handsomest coaches in the game. Oh. And he's an absolute G.
Don't say.
That'll come in another video, another ranking.
Have to look that up later.
But now Michael Parsons on that team, it's just, again, immaculate vibes.
Nice.
And you want to see a guy like that succeed. And he even talked about it after the game, Michael Parsons. And he's like, it was just so much negativity. And he's like, I'm from both sides. But I'm just happy that that's done. And I can focus on playing with this great team and this great organization with these great fans. And it's just back to football.
Yeah.
So great thing about TikTok, it just highlights those things. And I think those things get you more invested.
Yeah, I totally agree. Honestly, I mean, I would have had no idea if it weren't for TikTok about that kicker, like I'm learning. I really am. I'm slowly getting exposed to other things other than basketball. I'm trying my best.
And Matt Prater, awesome dude.
Yeah, that was so cute. Tucker. He seemed so sweet and he was so happy and the team like literally was lifting him up, cheering. Like it was so cute. And, that got me.
And knowing Matt Prater for so long, or like watching him, it was after the game that like he's interviewed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not realize how old he is now.
Yeah,
like
he looks old.
He looks old.
He does look old.
But,
I gotta say.
I mean, he's still got a great leg.
He can still kick. I know he can still kick. That's all that matters, right?
So are you ready for the 2-minute drill?
Go. Okay, 2-minute drill. This is going to be...
You got the timer?
Anthony basically going off, and you're going to say your predictions, right, for the next week?
This is my predictions for week 2.
Yes.
We will be better than 9-7. And in fact, I'm calling it right now. We will at least be, I think there's 16 games. We'll be 13-3 this week.
Period. Okay,
at the very least.
That's a tough challenge. But
this is gonna be hilarious if this episode comes out Friday, and my Thursday night game pick is already.
Well, it will. So let's see. We're gonna see.
You ready?
You guys will see. Okay, ready? I'm gonna start the timer. Yes, 2 minutes. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
All right. The Commanders go into Lambeau Field and play Green Bay. I think Micah Parsons makes a huge difference. I got Green Bay in a close one. Great game though. Probably game of the week. Then on Sunday, Jacksonville goes to play the Bengals. I was encouraged by what I saw from the Bengals defense. I think their offense plays a lot better. I think they get a win against a week 1 liar in the Jaguars. I think the Cowboys, the only reason I'm picking the Cowboys against the Giants, I do think that defense is ferocious. I still like that front four, but again, Russell Wilson's playing. So I got the Cowboys. Bears, Lions, don't need to explain. Lions, Bears looked rough. Rams, Titans, Rams, great football team. Patriots, Dolphins, this is going to be more of the same. They're no longer behind their head coach. And Patriots, I'm counting on you. Do not make me wrong. 49ers, Saints. 49ers, even though they're banged up, they beat the Saints. Bills, Jets. Bills. Steelers, Seahawks. Steelers are the real deal. A-Rod looks good. If we get half of that game, they are going to win that game. Baltimore and Browns. Baltimore, you will not start off 0-2 again. You got this. Browns, still L vibes. Horrible vibes. You will be 0-2. Broncos, Colts. Broncos offense looked rough, but they started figuring out we just need to throw the ball to Cortland Sutton and run the ball more. So now that they know that, they will beat a week 1 liar in the Colts. Cardinals, Panthers, Cardinals. Eagles, Chiefs. Another great game, another close game. Jalen Carter's back. I got the Eagles. Falcons, Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, J.J. McCarthy. He's going to play a lot better. Vikings will win.
10 seconds.
Bucks will beat the Texans. Texans' line is terrible. And on Monday night, Chargers will beat the Raiders. Gino will have more than 2 turnovers.
Wow, you did it. Exactly 2 minutes, guys. That was good. That was good. Yeah. Okay, you heard it here first, folks. You said 13-3? That's your goal?
13-3. We could be 16-0, though. I feel really good about these picks. I'm going to be honest, though. Most of them are chalk. Chalk means, like, easy. I'm picking the favorites, basically. But, again, week 1 and week 2 are always a liar. Maybe so more of it being the same. But we'll see. I feel really good about my picks. Period.
Well, I guess we're going to see. You guys will see. You guys will already know the Thursday night games by the time this comes out. So I guess we shall see. But we are basically rounding out this episode now, guys. But I want to play a quick little game. This is going to be a mini game. I kind of want to do like just on and off. Okay. And what it is that it is the player emoji game, okay? So
here we go.
Basically, all of this it's very simple, okay? I am going to show Anthony 5 emojis, okay? And we'll take turns doing this. Sometimes it will be me guessing, okay? And for the time being, we're just going to do NBA players because honestly, I could not do it for anything else, okay? So and these are NBA players, okay? So I am going to show Anthony 5 emojis. I will put it on the screen, okay? If you guys are not watching on YouTube, you can see them on the screen now if you're watching on YouTube, but I am going to show him, okay? So these are the emojis.
You can tell him.
Yes.
So I guess this is one player.
Yes, I guess I can actually just show it to you guys. Well, this is one player. So I'm showing them on the screen right now. I'll read it to you guys. I'll tell you guys what they are afterwards. I just don't want to give anything away.
Okay, I'm so stupid. What flag is that?
Well, that's why I don't want to tell you. That's why I don't want to tell you, okay? I tried to make it easy. I tried to pick an easy one for the first week. But maybe it's not that easy. Can you guys guess? If you know what it is and you're watching on YouTube right now, please leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think it is. Tell me if you think this is easy or not, okay?
So this is a one. Is that a white dude dribbling? So it's a medal, a first place medal.
I don't want to give you any context.
Number 3. So they gotta wear number 3, but it might be there.
I don't know if you're gonna get it now. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried you're not going to get it.
I can't tell what that is. Is that a bowl? What's in the bowl?
Oh, well, I mean, I can't. It's going to give it away if I tell you what that is.
Oh, wow. This is actually pretty tough.
You think? Oh, my God. Okay,
in my opinion,
maybe it's hard.
I think it has to be somebody from there. This is going to be a dumb start if it's Luka.
No.
Okay,
no,
so I didn't think it was Luka.
No,
I didn't think
that's too obvious.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint.
Curry?
Yes, it's Curry.
Is that Curry? I see.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes. All right. Okay, so let me tell you guys what these emojis are. Now, let me see.
Is number 3 his number?
No, I put 3 because he shoots threes.
He shoots threes. Okay, I was confused by that.
Yes.
Okay, he won a gold medal.
Yes.
You're showing a basketball player
dribbling. So I put the Indian flag with a bowl of curry. as like together. Those go together.
The Indian flag was throwing me off.
I didn't think about that.
I only recognized the bowl, and I was like, you know what? Just go with your gut. I think it's curry because of the gold medal and because of the bowl of curry. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's curry. Am I that uneducated? I thought you were throwing me for a loop. I was like, does Madi know international players like that?
Well, that's why I didn't even think about that. I'm not going to lie. But maybe I should have. I probably confused you even more. But
great
okay,
first
guys.
game.
Thank
Great.
you.
That
was kind of hard, huh?
I'm going to make it super hard on you.
Yeah, I know. But I know. Don't make it too hard because I made it easy. I picked someone that's very, very famous.
I'm going to give you Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to get that, though. I won't get it, for sure. But I want to tell you guys.
I'm going to give you Dwayne Dedman.
All right, I'm going to be like, who's that? Okay, the emojis I picked, for the record, guys, are the Indian flag, okay, a bowl of curry, according to emojis. It looks like curry with rice. The number 3, okay, the number 3 emoji, because, again, like we just said, Steph Curry obviously shoots threes. We all know that. A first place medal, of course, the Olympics. How could we forget? I feel like that's very synonymous with him. And then a little basketball guy. I thought you were going to say a little black guy. A little basketball guy. I know you said he's white, but he's actually just the yellow. He's just like the non-colored yellow. But honestly, the only reason I picked him... There wasn't a
mixed emoji in there?
I should have made it maybe a skin tone, but the reason that I just picked this one was because he's wearing blue. So I was like, Golden State. Like, he's wearing a blue jersey. Okay, so that was the game, guys. That was the quick little fun little game. We all had fun with that.
Great first game.
Yeah, right? I told you. I thought it would be fun. I'm excited for yours. You got to give me one next week, okay?
I will.
So we're going to wrap it up with the MVP. For those of you guys who watched our first episode, that is our most valuable vibes of the week, okay? That's basically our version of the MVP, okay? But it's not necessarily who played the best. It's who had the best vibes, who carried the vibes of the week, if you will, okay? Who had the most aura, however you want to define it. Okay, we decide. So, you said you already have a pick. We actually both have a pick for this week. So why don't you go ahead and tell people what your pick is?
You said you had an exciting one. I don't want to be surprised.
I mean, it's maybe.
Mine's super quick. Mine's Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I mean, he looked great. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes. This is year 7 for him. He always gets compared to Peyton Manning because their numbers are so familiar. And Peyton Manning wasn't Peyton Manning until year 7. So it's interesting. The last quarterback to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in an opener against a division rival was none other than Peyton Manning.
Twinning.
So, little interesting tidbit. And I believe it was when he was with the Broncos. So again, he's also dating Madison Beer. So first,
wow, I saw that. Actually.
Yeah, professional quarterback activities,
right?
And it's every time these guys start doing that. I mean, Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld, boom, he took off. So he's feeling himself. He did a slide at the end, and you could just tell it's like, oh, okay, he's rolling with a whole new level of confidence. He's got the girl. Go get the ring this year. You got the coach finally. He looked great. He looked every bit of the part. And I've been waiting for him to have his breakout year. And I think this is it. He's my MVP. Immaculate vibes.
Period. I like that. That's a good choice. Okay. Even though I honestly, I saw those pictures of Madison Beer with like her new boyfriend.
Didn't know it was him.
No idea it was even an athlete, honestly.
Oh, yeah. You were wondering, like, who is this super tall human?
I just saw them on Dumois, okay? For those of you who know what that is.
I think he's 6'6" or 6'7".
Wow. Okay. Okay. Basketball player. Wow. Yeah. Period. Okay. Well, my most valuable vibes is that kicker. What is his name?
Matt Prater.
Yeah. He's my most valuable vibes.
Great.
For sure.
I love that pick. Honestly, I should have changed mine.
I mean, no, it's okay. I'm glad we have different ones, actually.
No, yeah.
But I just feel like he literally, we already talked about it. He brought the vibes. He brought the wholesome vibes. He brought his energy to my TikTok. He went viral. I mean, he showed up and was ready to go and showed like, at 41 or however old he is, like, he still got it. So he's my MVP of the week.
And great pick. Honestly, I don't think we'll have an episode. Well, I hope we have an episode where it's early in the show, but I don't think we'll have an MVP beat that pick because they also had to do a fire drill kick. That means they run out the kicking unit with no timeouts. The Bills had no timeouts. So they had to run him in with that situation, get him set, and then he kicked it, hit the game winner.
No
Honestly,
problem.
yeah. That was the best story of the weekend.
It was just so cute. And the vibes, again, the vibes. Was he the best player in all the teams? No, but his vibes,
it checked out. Yeah.
He won, in my opinion. So, alrighty. Well, this has been episode 2, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you watched episode 1, thank you so much for watching again. Make sure that you guys subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, please, we're trying to grow this podcast. And guess what, guys? If you can get us enough subscribers to quit our jobs so we can make way more episodes. Please. So if you like that, please subscribe, like, comment. It doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a big difference for us. If you are listening, please leave us a review. We are on Spotify and also on Apple Music. So if you guys want to listen to us, please feel free to do it there. If you don't want to watch, or if you want to watch, go watch us on YouTube. We are First Team All Vibes everywhere. Everywhere on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok as well. Okay, so follow us everywhere, guys. Go follow us and listen to all of our crazy thoughts. And we have much more coming. We're going to start releasing our miniature episodes as well, along with these big main episodes. The main podcast episodes will be always weekly, but we will also have fun little segments, so stay tuned. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Do you have anything left to say to the people? Shout out UTEP. Shout out Malachi Nelson. First blowout in I don't know how long. Wow. Vibes are immaculate in El Paso for once for football. So that's where we're from, guys, El Paso. So we got to represent UTEP. We love them. Love to hear it. See you guys next week. Thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.